Okay, so hey man, it's time to really make this thing rock and roll. So let's build this sucker out in your autoresponder sequence. So I'm going to show you how to do this in Infusionsoft because it is very visual. The structure is going to be the same no matter what CRM that you're using. CRM being one of those fancy Web 2.0 type words for autoresponder system. All right, so they opt in. You immediately take them to thank you page with the first pitch on there, which you know. They're added to your autoresponder automatically. They get an email instantly with a link to your download page. We've already set that up. And the next day, they get an email to your offer. Now, that could just be your sales letter or sales video for your thing, your main thing, right? Most of them will not buy then. That's just totally normal. So what we do is the next day after that, assuming they haven't bought, I almost said buyed, assuming they haven't bought, we email them the link to the milestone video number 1, and then we do so subsequently every day until they buy something, right? And if you don't want to do it every day, you can wait 2 days between one of them or something. But generally speaking, we're not going to be bothering them. This isn't pushy. It's actually adding value to them. So the emails themselves aren't going to be perceived as commercial and spammy and uncool. Now, most people in your marketplace are going to do this. They're going to opt in. They're going to see the pitch. They're going to get an email with the download page. The next day, they're going to get an email to the offer. And then every day, they're just going to circle back to this offer. Hey, you didn't buy it. Maybe you should buy it today. And they're just going to keep hammering people with reasons why they should buy it instantly. And it's going to drive the customers crazy. You're going to be significantly different than that. And the reason why is because we're constantly delivering value. Every single one of these milestone videos that we're going to be giving them is helping them, right? So if you remember from the beginning of this module, the closer we get them to point B from their original starting point of point A, as we move them farther through the milestones on their journey to that point B, which is them getting whatever result it is they want, the greater their trust in us will be and the greater the desire will be for our stuff, right? Because of the sausage effect, the thank you, what's next. So we're being significantly different than everybody else in this process, which is good. So let me show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it in Infusionsoft, like I said. I think I told you that already, because it is simply more intuitive. So get this out of the way here, and I'll bring up the good old-fashioned web browser. And I'm going to show you how to build this in Infusionsoft's Campaign Builder. Campaign Builder is awesome. So if you are an Infusionsoft user, you just go from Marketing to Campaign Builder, and you click there anywhere. Doesn't matter what screen you're on, just go to the main menu, click on Campaign Builder, and we'll set up the autoresponder. And if you're using a Weber or whatever, they don't have anything as cool as Campaign Builder, but you can still program it to send an email after day 1 and then wait 2 days and send an email later. The reason we're going to use Infusionsoft is because this is what I use, and visually it's a lot easier. So if you're an Infusionsoft user, this will look familiar to you because we set this up together in an earlier module, right? So this is what happens. People opt in, they join the newsletter or whatever by requesting the free thing, and then they're placed immediately in the follow-up sequence, right? So now what we're going to do is we already sent them the email with the link to the download page. So here's that email, right? And what we're going to do now is we're going to start deploying the milestone series. So the first thing we want to do is we want to put a delay timer in here. Now, if you're using a different CRM, you're just going to program it however they do it. You know, it just says wait 2 days to send message number 2 or whatever. So in Infusionsoft, you do it by saying, you drag this little timer over there, you say wait at least 1 day, run on any day, and I like to send my emails at about 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Gets it over here about 7 o'clock on Pacific Time, and I have no data to back up that's the best place or best time to do it, but my buddy Ryan Dice, they have sent like 1 billion emails across their 30-something companies, and he says that this is the best result for him, so I believe him. So I'm going to go ahead and test that. So now we say, okay, wait a day, and we're going to do something. Well, the something we're going to do is we're going to send an email. And typically, that email is going to be to your offer, right? So before we do a milestone sequence, we are going to send an email to your sales letter. So in Infusionsoft, when you use the Campaign Builder, we can format our email using all this kind of stuff. But if we've already got one that looks cool, we can just copy from an existing campaign. We don't have to format that. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say copy from list class demo. I want to copy email number 1, use this, and now voila, we don't have to mess with any of those funky colors and stuff. Now, if you're using Aweber or something like that, then it's a different process, but very, very similar, right? So there's no need for me to drag you through multiple tutorials on different CRMs, especially for just creating a follow-up sequence. So in this one, it has pre-populated this email with the text and everything from email number 1, but we can change this. I just did that so we wouldn't have to edit all those colors again, you know, it's a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just change the subject line, and because this is for the very first email where we just send them straight to the offer, we'll say something like, please read. And I'll get rid of the exclamation point because I don't want to be too dramatic. And then I might say something like, hey, contact first name. If you're, and I'll pause this so you don't have to watch me write the copy. What I wrote here is contact first name, please read. And then I say, hey, if you want to create a complete webinar funnel that makes sales for you in just 28 days or less, I've just published a great report that outlines how to do it. You can read it here. And this would be a link to my sales letter, right? So if you know anything about the way I prefer to write copy, it's always to teach during the actual sale. So the sales letter would talk about the 5 steps of a webinar process, and then it would pitch the ultimate webinar blueprint. Or if I didn't want to do a letter, if I wanted to do a video, I would just say, I've just published a great video that outlines how to do it. You can watch it here. And then there would be a link straight to the sales video for my main thing, right? And the reason we're doing this first is because we might as well take advantage of the lowest hanging fruit possible, right? So they've opted in. They're clearly interested in building webinars or whatever it is that we're offering a bribe about, right? We've sent them to a one-time offer, which could be for this product, or it could be for a different, related product. It doesn't really matter. We've sent them the free report they requested, and now we're going to start trying to make some sales. So the very first thing we want to do is try to make the first sale, right? Now, so what I'm going to do is I'll leave this be. This is exactly how I'd write that letter. I might even go further and say, in this report, you'll discover, and then I would put some bullet points, right? The number 1 way to, excuse my bad copy here, or bad typing, number 1, still can't do it, number 1 way to blah, and then bullet, like that. And then I would say, click here to read it now. And that would make that a link, right? So that's how you could elaborate on that. So when in Infusionsoft, when you're done, you always want to go from draft to ready, and then that saves it. Last step is I'm going to name this email number 2, and we'll let that be. So we just go back to sequence, and now that guy's ready. So again, if you're doing this in Aweber, you don't have all of this campaign builder stuff. You just fill in some blanks and, you know, write your copy in the safe, send after 1 day. Infusionsoft's a little more sophisticated and cooler, and I like it because even if you're an Aweber user, I can show you graphically how this works, right? So if they don't buy, and I'll show you how to tell if they bought here in a minute. If they don't buy, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to wait a day. So I'll drag my delay timer over here, make it so the arrows lined up. I'll program my delay timers. I'll say wait, 1 day, run any day at 10 a.m. Eastern. And what do I want to happen at 10 a.m. Eastern after 1 day? Well, I want to send an email, right? So I'll just drag this over her. And to edit the email, I will double-click this little envelope here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same process, right? So just in case for some reason you missed the last email, the way you change all of this stuff is we just go to Layout and Style right here. Drag this over here so you can kind of see it better. I get rid of the header. I get rid of the footer. Get rid of all that stuff. I align the email to the left so it looks normal. And now I get rid of the gray background and I make it white. Ta-da! And I'll even do it to super simple. There we go. And now I'm going to get rid of this graphic, and I'm going to get rid of this thing up here at the top. And now we can just start editing this text like so. I'm going to get rid of this big headline here too. I don't like it. It's weird looking. There we go. So, dear, actually I'll just say hey, right? I'll pause it here so you don't have to watch me type. Before we go further, I'll show you how to do a merge. So I just clicked on merge. I clicked on contact fields most common. I'm going to say first name. There we go. That inserted their first name. So now I'll finish the typing. Go ahead and type some of the body copy. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a subject line, and I'm just going to show you again how to do the merge thing. So we click on merge. Whoops. We click on merge here, and we select contact fields most common. And what I want to do now is I want to put in new video, how to get targeted. Did I spell that right? Targeted. Sorry. It's the typing and talking. Your deregistration pages, right? Because that's what our first milestone video is about. So what we want to do now is I'm going to put the link here. So remember, this is a video, or this is the email sending them to the very first milestone video, and we created this video together, or at least we went through the slides for it together, right? So what I'm going to do is, if you'll recall, we built that page, and I pasted the address for the first milestone video right here in my little text editor, so I wouldn't have to search for it later. So I'm just going to make it a link right here. It'll start playing for you automatically here. And I'll make this a hyperlink. Whoops. So we click on link there. Just type in the web address. Paste. Ta-da! There we go. And now we say, in this video, we're going to talk about, and I want to sort of sell them on watching the video. So there's a reason I didn't write the copy here. I'm going to show you where you get the copy ideas from. You get it from this guy. Remember our milestones worksheet? So if this video is about the better targeted PPC, I can make some bullet points here based on what I have in the milestone worksheet, right? So you already have this thing figured out, so we can just make bullet points here. And if you don't want to make bullet points, you can literally, I mean, if you don't know how to write fancy copy, you can literally just say, using research to your competitors hijack your competitors' best prospects. Bullet 2, bullet 3, right? And then there's no charge, and you can watch it here. And now we might even want to just paste the URL. And in just about any CRM, whenever you paste a web address, you always want to make sure it's a real link. They all kind of work the same. You highlight the text, go to the link here, and just make sure it's an actual hyperlink there. Boom. So that turned that into a hyperlink for us. So now we just say, enjoy Rick James. Okay, there we go. And I've made a couple typos in here, but I know that you don't want to watch me type today. So I will be mercifully brief there. All right, so now what we've done is we've created our very first email for the milestone series. So I'll take this out of draft mode. I'm going to save this as email 3. So I'll rename it. There we go. Click on save, and then I'll go back to the sequence, right? And so we do this for as many emails that we have in the sequence. So if I have 4 milestone videos, I'll just drag another timer over here, another delay timer. I'll say wait a day, and then I'll say okay, and I'll drag another email, and that'll be the second email in the milestone sequence. And we'll do that until the milestone sequence is complete, right? And the copy is almost always the same. It's like, hey, I hope you enjoyed yesterday's video, and today's video I'm going to show you how to do some other cool stuff. Here's what you're going to learn. You can watch it here. Very, very simple. No need to make it 10 years long, right? So let me show you now how you make it so if they buy, they're not going to get any more emails, right? Because we don't want to drive them crazy. In Infusionsoft, the way you do this is you set a goal. And how any sequence works is it will continue to run until a goal is met. So we need to make that goal be they buy something. So in Infusionsoft, it's killer because all you do is you go over here to goals and you say purchase online, right? So if they purchase online, we'll quit sending them all of this stuff. So we drag this thing over here and connect it, and then you just double click this and tell it what they need to purchase in order to make this stop. So if we're selling Ultimate Webinar Blueprint, you just type in the name of your product, and we say if they buy Ultimate Webinar Blueprint 3Pay, we don't send them any more follow-up emails, right? And then if we wanted to create a back-end sequence, all we would have to do is say, now once they buy it, they're in this back-end sequence, and we could add upsell emails here if we wanted to. I'll go ahead and get rid of that though. Right, so you're ready to go. All you really need to do is just continue to add your milestone sequences or your milestone emails to the follow-up sequence. And again, Aweber is going to work the same way. They just don't have the level of complexity and coolness with the campaign builder that Infusionsoft does. And there's a lot more neat automated stuff you can do in Infusionsoft, which we'll save for another time and maybe another class, because I don't want to bog you down with too much technical stuff. So that's how we build this sucker. It's very, very simple. So now what we've done is we have created essentially, where are we? This map. See, so when you finish this, we've got the whole machine built. So now we've got at least a week's worth of very good, high value, high content, Goodwill building content pieces which simultaneously sell. And if they don't buy, we won't bother them anymore. So we don't run the risk of overloading them because of the way we've programmed it, right? So what if they don't buy? Well, our option is to send them 9 million emails back to the sales page, right? Which is what your competition is going to do. But I like to just start now deploying different types of campaigns here to get them to buy. And one of the best and most efficient ones is something called the 4-day cash machine. It is a classic, and I've decided to include it for you in this. Probably the 4-day cash machine has made more fast money for my students than really anything else I've ever published, because it's so very, very simple and it just universally works. So what I'm going to do is in the next video, I'm going to give you the 4-day cash machine as presented from my breakthrough course called Mass Control, which is the best-selling course of its kind in the history of our community on the topic of how to build campaigns that simultaneously establish celebrity, authority, and goodwill. So without further ado, I'll see you in the next video where I will give to you, straight from Mass Control 2.0, the classic 4-day cash machine. And you can simply deploy it to any follow-up sequence you want if they still haven't purchased from your milestone series, okay? So if we're an Infusionsoft user, the last thing we need to do is simply click on Publish here to turn this campaign completely on, make all of our changes real, right? So we click on that, and now we're ready to go. We don't have to change anything in lead pages. We don't have to change any other technical stuff because all the front-end system's already been built, right? They're already subscribing perfectly. They're already being added to your autoresponder sequence. We're just programming more emails to go out sequentially in the way that we want them to. So that is how you build a milestone sequence. I'll see you in the next video to cap it all off with the incredibly effective 4-day cash machine. See you in a sec.